You're watching the TBA Member Spotlight Series. Each episode, TBA President Michelle Greenlee-Sellers has a virtual sit-down with members from across the state to check in and chat about topics of importance to the Tennessee lawyer. On today's episode, Michelle speaks with Mary Beard, Senior HR Counsel at HCA Healthcare in Nashville and the TBA's first ever Chief Diversity Officer.
I'm pleased to recognize and introduce Mary Beard. She currently serves as Senior HR Counsel at HCA Healthcare in Nashville. She previously worked as Senior Counsel at FedEx Corporation in Memphis. She has served the Tennessee Bar Association in a variety of roles, including on the Young Lawyers Division Board, as Chair of the Labor and Employment Executive Council, and co-chair of the Committee on Racial and Ethnic Diversity. She is a member of our TBA Leadership Law class, and she was inducted as a TBA Young Lawyers Division Fellow. Mary is the immediate past president of the Napier-Luby Bar Association, and she has the distinction of being the first Black woman in the state of Tennessee to chair a statewide judicial nominating selection committee. I'm so glad that Mary agreed to get back involved in our Bar Association as TBA's first Chief Diversity Officer, a role she maintains in addition to serving as an Assistant General Counsel to our Board of Governors. Mary, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's an honor.
For our members who don't know you, can you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am originally from Kansas City, Missouri. My parents moved to West Tennessee, specifically Ripley, Tennessee, when I was at a young age. I attended Ripley High School and further my education at Alabama A&M University in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm a valedictorian of both my high school class and my college classes. I then went to Vanderbilt Law School, where I was one of the founding editors of the Vanderbilt Journal of Entertainment Law and Practice. As you mentioned before, I started my career with Weintraub Stock in Memphis, Tennessee. That's now Fisher Phillips. I later moved to Ford and Harrison, and then as a third year attorney, I transferred or got a new job at FedEx Express, where I traveled the world and did litigation across the U.S. And then I took a position at FedEx Corporation, in which I provided pre-litigation advice and counseling on corporate initiatives. And now, as you stated, I'm with HCA Healthcare. I am the senior HR counsel there, where I am the special counsel per se to the chief HR officer and her executive team.
Mary, you have led an impressive career so far. And I know you're not done yet. You have just completed your year as president of the Napier-Luby Bar Association. Tell us about some of your initiatives as president.
The theme for 2020 was developing lawyers for leadership in the bar, the bench, and beyond. Some of the programming that we had consisted of facilitated training for our Strengths for Leadership by the Gallup organization. We had unconscious bias training, as well as characterizations of a leadership facilitated training. As you know, in 2020, Nashville and the world faced natural disasters. We had a pandemic, we had social justice issues, as well as election integrity concerns. And so what we really focus on as a beyond for lawyers as leaders is our community. We had a number of community initiatives. We participated in many legal aid and legal aid opportunities. We partnered with the Legal Aid Society of Middle Tennessee and the Cumberlands. for various legal clinics in the community. We also partner with Judge Bell in Nashville for her legal clinics, as well as we develop what we call our community education forums. And that is a partnership with local African-American churches in Nashville to educate the community on basic legal issues that we saw that were apparent in the pandemic. Some of those issues are, of course, employment law, landlord-tenant issues, bankruptcy, domestic violence issues. Those are the issues that we felt faced the community in the midst of everything that we saw in Nashville in 2020.
Thank you. How have you and your colleagues navigated providing services during a pandemic?
Well, I think that, and I'm assuming that you're talking about legal services at work.
Yes.
A great pivot for us to have individuals now having to work from home. But I think that my colleagues and myself really understood resilience, right? We faced the change and we pivoted to provide our clients with great legal services. It's been a challenge, I think, with everyone in the midst of a pandemic. But I do think that my colleagues and myself have risen to the bar to give our clients the same, if not more, great legal services during this time.
Mary, you are a great example of the importance and impact of bar service. Why was Bar Association involvement important to you, and how has it shaped your career or your community involvement?
When I became a lawyer some years ago, I met a few lawyers in Memphis, where I first started practicing, that told me the importance of bar service. Those individuals were Cecilia Barnes and Ed Stanton III. I followed their footsteps in becoming very active in not only the Ben F. Jones chapter there in Memphis, Tennessee, which is affiliate of the National Bar Association. I was president there some years ago, as well as being very active in the Tennessee Bar Association. I think that bar participation helps lawyers develop their leadership skills even more. Some of my lifelong friends and colleagues, since becoming a lawyer, I met in the Young Lawyers Division. The Bar Association, the Tennessee Bar Association, wrote a letter on my behalf when I became a member of the Judicial Nominating Commission in the state of Tennessee. And I was the first woman and first African-American woman to chair that commission. The Bar Association has been an avenue for service, especially the Tennessee Bar Association. We have provided great programming across the state of Tennessee to not only our fellow colleagues in the law, but also the communities in which we serve.
Thank you, Mary. I tell people all the time that some of my greatest friends I met in the Tennessee Bar Association Young Lawyers Division, and I have to say that that includes you.
Same here.
For those who don't know, Mary and I served in the Tennessee Bar Association Young Lawyers Division together.
Yeah.
As you know, because you're the Chief Diversity Officer of the Tennessee Bar Association, diversity has been a major focus of my presidency this year. And you are serving in a unique role for the TBA. Talk about, if you can, the work of the Diversity Task Force and some of the possible recommendations that may go to our board for approval.
So I do want to talk about the history, your history, Michelle, in bringing diversity to the Tennessee Bar Association. As you mentioned before, you and I were in the Young Lawyers Division some years ago. But even then, when you were president of the Tennessee Young Lawyers, you asked me, you tapped me and said, Mary, I want to start the first diversity plan for the Tennessee Young Lawyers Division. And we created that some years ago with Effie Bean was my co-chair. And so diversity has been an important part of both of our bar membership and service to the Tennessee Bar Association. I will say I'm very honored to be the Chief Diversity Officer because it kind of brings in what we did back in, I think that was like 2007, 2008, 2009, when we were in the YLD and creating the first diversity plan for the YLD. Now we're creating a diversity plan for the Tennessee Bar Association as a whole. And that, as the Chief Diversity Officer, it is my goal to educate our community and our bar association on what is diversity, first of all. Diversity crosses so many areas of our lives as attorneys. It's not just what we see as our EEO protected classes under the law, but it goes to what practices we do as lawyers, the geographical areas in which we practice. It's the activities that we share outside of the law. Diversity just covers a gamut of things. And I think that we need to understand that as we look at TBA diversity. The goal of the TBA task force is to create diversity initiatives. First, what we've done is consider what the TBA has already created. We do have diversity initiatives that were in our long-term plan. The second thing that we're doing is seeing there's new ones. Are there new initiatives that we want to create within the Tennessee Bar Association? And then how do we not only increase diversity within the Tennessee Bar Association, but also increase diversity in the bar at large in the state of Tennessee? So we have a very engaged and enlightening group of attorneys across the state, a very diverse group of attorneys. We have them from the West, Middle, and Eastern divisions of the state, small, medium, and large firms, our government agencies, in-house, our legal aid societies. So we are coming together to see what we can do as a team to increase diversity awareness in the state of Tennessee, and also create more diversity within the bar. Some of the initiatives that we are going to present, I don't want to spoil them, Michelle. I want to wait.
Okay.
But the major things I think we're thinking about, I'll mention two. And one is a TBA law school division. I think that is one of the things that have come out of our discussions. And so as we look at the 4 pillars of the diversity task force, and the 4 are recruitment, retention, investment, and advancement, we have to think about the recruitment aspect. And we're not looking at only those individuals that are in college, but we're trying to develop a pipeline. So we are partnering with local organizations in Nashville to work with developing a pipeline with our high school students. But I think with this new division, a law student division of the TBA, we will capture those students in law school to help recruit to be members of our organizations more earlier in their career. And also the other aspect I want to mention from the task force is a program in which we highlight across the state those organizations, whether it be law firms, in-house firms, government agencies, legal aid agencies. Who are the leaders in diversity in the state of Tennessee? we want to learn those best practices. We want to tell other firms about them, other organizations about them, and make sure that we have a cohesive program that we can develop, that we can give to all legal employers in the state of Tennessee to assist them in increasing diversity. And I just want to say that diversity for the Tennessee Bar Association, we do look at race, sex, national origin, religion, and color as we would under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. But we're looking at so much more. We're looking at age diversity, at practice area. We're looking at geographic area. We're looking at small firms, large firms, medium-sized firms. We're looking at solo practitioners. So we are considering all different types of diversity, and we just want to educate our legal community on how broad diversity is for us at the Tennessee Bar Association.
Mary, I would just like to thank you for all your hard work on the Diversity Task Force and all the members of the Diversity Task Force that y'all put in a lot of work. And I thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you so much.
What advice would you give to a new lawyer entering the profession at this moment in time?
Funny that you asked. I have one of my mentors that's in law school now, and I have been guiding her through the process of choosing the firm in which she would work in her second summer, which definitely would lead to her employment for her first year out of law school. And so it brings back memories about what I did and how I thought about it. But I think that the best thing that you can do as a young lawyer is to make sure you avail yourself of wise counsel. Ask the questions of lawyers who have already made these decisions in life. Ask them about, their career paths, and just know that you don't have to know everything right now. When we started as young lawyers, we didn't know how my career would shape. I thought I would be a partner at a law firm. My partners at Ford Harrison thought I was going to be a partner there as well. And I could have been, and I had the clients, but I decided that I wanted to go in-house. And so I've been an in-house lawyer per se for since I was a third year lawyer. And so most of my career has been in-house. But I would tell young lawyers you don't have to know everything of how your path is going to work out. Listen to advice, counsel, but listen to wise counsel, but listen to yourselves. You are successful individuals. You have gained leadership skills that you have developed throughout your life that have gotten you to the point that you're now a lawyer, that you're in law school. So listen to your gut and know what you want and go for it. Listen to your passion. Your path is not my path. It is your path. Develop the legal career that you want. But again, still listen to wise counsel so you won't make mistakes that can be avoided along the way.
That's good advice, Mary. And just to highlight you a little bit more, can you tell everyone a little bit more about your volunteer activities in addition to everything else you've been doing? I'm not sure where you find the time, but.
Well, my passion is service. My parents instilled in me that we are blessed to be a blessing and to serve our community. So I've learned that from my father, my late father, and my mother. We have to understand that we are given skills and talents to actually help others. And so community service is just a part of my being. A couple of things that I do outside of Tennessee Bar Association is that I am a deacon and a trustee at my church, Watson Grove Baptist Church in Nashville, Tennessee, where I assist our executive team there with our policies, our employment handbook, and different other initiatives with our financial goals. I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I'm a general member, so I do activities as they may come and are fitting within my schedule. I'm a member of the Parthenon Tennessee chapter of the Links Incorporated, where I serve as the parliamentarian. And I also serve on a committee that we're developing a girls' academy that will focus on STEM for young ladies within the Nashville community. And so I'm very excited about that work. And I'm also I'm now the immediate past president of the Napier Louis Bar Association. And so, as I mentioned before, I will be continuing my role with them in making sure that our community education forums are rolled out appropriately.
Mary, I'm not sure where you find all the time in your day for all the work that you do, but I thank you for all the service and everything that you do for Tennessee attorneys, for the state of Tennessee, for your church, for your sorority, for everyone you're serving. Thank you. Thank you for all you're doing. Also, thank you for all your years of service to the TBA. And we really appreciate all your service. And I truly appreciate you coming back to the leadership this year and agreeing to be the Chief Diversity Officer. I know it's been a lot of work, and I really appreciate you agreeing to do that. And in addition, being Assistant General Counsel. So thank you.
And as I stated about young lawyers, advice for young lawyers in the beginning, we have to remember if we make a promise, we keep a promise. And I made a promise to you, Michelle, that I would come back to the Tennessee Bar Association and serve in the capacity under your leadership when you became president. And I want to keep that promise, not only to you as my fellow colleague in the law, but also as a lifetime friend.
Thank you so much, Mary. I appreciate you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you.